So wiring, we're going to take a look at now. So it says start with the spindle X carriage. Okay, so this is my X motor. Using the label cabled ends. Okay, so basically it's getting me to start to attach them. There's no requirement for which colour goes onto which side of the spindle. So it's basically saying the X and Z. So, here we go. Right. First of all, what have we got about? We've got the X here, and we've got the X here. So, this will have a direction that it clips into. Okay, great. We have a Y1 motor, so that will clip into Y1, which was the first one I put on this side. I don't believe it would actually make any difference. And then, oh my gosh, we have all this stuff that's going to fly over here. Actually, it's nice because it looks like it's got a clip for it all to sit into. So that's quite nice. Right, so we're just going to dump that over there for now, because before I do that, I'm guessing, and I'm correct, I have a plus and minus here. I was surprised, the cables have got themselves all nice and hidden, all the way up there, so I need to get them out. They look like limit switch. Cheers. Oh. Yeah, they have got themselves all nicely shoved up there. Actually, they're quite hard to find. So, what have we got? That would be our Z motor. So yeah, that will screw on there. So this is where cable gets fiddly, but cable is tidier. Z limit switch, Z motor clips in here. And I think I was probably right about that screwing in there. So before I do that, I am going to screw that in. It's probably the only thing where the diagram looks slightly different. Okay, so we've got the screwdriver. We're just going to screw this in. If we can actually find the actual hole it goes into. That's probably why it says to feed the thing through afterwards. Because actually getting it to go in, I've got a magnetic screwdriver as well, is quite tight. So, small screws are me. Oh, it's not a screwdriver, it's an Allen key. I've dropped that one, so somehow we've got to get that one out. There we go. No, don't fall down that little hole. Go around the other side. Okay, so that's fixed our drag chain. I did feel like it would go in there. Kind of made sense that that would be the location for it. Okay, nice and tight, drag chain in place. Then it's just wiring up with what's left. So, right, let's see if we can get these in. What have we got? I'm hoping there's actually two wires shoved in here. And annoyingly, I don't know if it's... Now, you should be able to pop these off on the drag chain to give yourself a little bit more flexibility. I'm hoping maybe by doing this I give myself a little bit more flex in the cable as well. Because what have I got down here? I've got a Z limit. I don't even know what they are because I can't read them. Okay, I'm going to try and pop the plastic off the... Oh, they're tight. Yep, okay, we broke one off. So that's my X limit, this one. Okay, and then that would make this one here probably my Z limit. So let's pop that Z limit in, and that is tight. I reckon that's going to pop out. Okay. Ugh. That's pretty doggone tight, that is. Okay. Right, X limit is this one here. So they're just all my limit switches. Again, I can pop that one back on. I am worried how tight that is though. I wonder if I can loosen it somehow. Alright, let's pop it back on. They are just plastic clips. Some drag chains you can remove all of it, others just parts. They are going to be hard to get back in, if at all. So let's take a look at what's left. We've got our plus and minus. So the plus and minus is very likely to be on our spindle itself. So if I go over here, yeah, so there is a plus and there's a minus on our spindle. Where's the best way for that to go through? Plus and minus. It looks like there is some clips for this. So it probably feeds through this side here, probably clips in here, and again, the wiring is never an easy one for me to be able to video because wiring comes absolutely everywhere. And again, we're just shoving those in and just doing the clip, pushing the clip in. Okay, so we've got a little bit of tidy wiring. Now what we've got here is probably quite a big mess going on, so we need to look. But I feel like I'm missing a Y2 motor axis, which is for this. And where is that? Okay, so that's here. Okay, so the small clip. Okay. We've got a lot of chunky wire in here, and that's to go to our board. We're going to try and make this as tidy as possible. So that will go in there and clip into there. I say I'm not typically a person that's known for their tidy wiring at all, but somehow we want to make it reasonably neat. Right, let's try and clip this in. Okay, right, I think when you have done all of that, it's basically wiring up the board, or plugging in the board. So we're going to take all of our tools off, and we're going to start to plug in the board, and we'll do that on here. Turn the table around, we'll do it on here, we'll take a look at it, and then we'll probably have to turn it on and see how it goes. As I say, I need to get a kettle lead because it supplied me with a European over a UK connector. It's quite common when you get stuff out of other countries. European is different to the UK. So, okay, so up we come with our controller board. We'll just pop it that way for the moment. On there, and we'll pick up our cables. So, okay, we have all of our motors and our spindle. So I suppose the easiest thing to do is to go one at a time. So, our Z motor, that just clips in there. Z motor, done. X, we want the next one, so Y1. Y limit, we don't want that one, we want Y1. So that would be Y1, nice simple push. Okay, then we want Y2. Again, another very simple, just push in. Then we want our X motor. Okay, so that's basically connecting our motors, which is pretty seamless to do. Now if I flip to the side, we have our limit switches, our probe, our lasers. Okay, oh, and our spindle. So that's quite a chunky one. So let's start with our spindle. Okay, probably need to get this in the correct way around. There. Okay, so that's our spindle in position. Look, there's an offline controller and a USB. Personally, I never use offline controllers. Okay, right, we'll start from the closest side to me, so we'll go Z. Y. And my X. Okay. Okay, so that is it all connected. The USB will go to my PC. The switch volt there, which I'm assuming it's not switched to. Oh no, it is. It's switched to 230. UK is 240, so that's fine. Offline controller. The kettle lead. I need to get a kettle lead for the other side. Then we can turn it on and start to have a look at the machine itself and how it actually works. Will I connect the probe for now? I will probably leave the probe for now, and we'll just move the machine backwards and forwards to see what it does. And then I can start to play with some tooling on it. So we'll redo all of this, actually setting up the machine and running it now it's put together. So that's the machine put together. We'll take a look at running it in a moment. So I've plugged the USB that comes with the machine into my laptop, and the reason I've done that is because it's got all the drivers and the test codes and candle on there. So the first thing that it says me to do is install the driver. Now I have one of these installed for the 3018, but I don't know if it's exactly the same. I believe it is, because it's the same code, but I'm just reinstalling it anyway as it doesn't hurt, and basically just going to install it. So it's picking which port my laptop's going to be using. So it's just installing it there. So my driver's successfully installed. So the next thing to do is to go to the Candle software. So on those 4030 files, files approver XL, I will go to this one, Candle 13. So this is my actual Candle software. Now I haven't turned the machine on as of yet, so I need to hit the power button to turn my machine on itself. So I'm just going to flick that button to turn my machine on. Listen to it, make sure that my emergency stop button is pulled out on there. I'm also going to just check that my spindle is freely available. So the next thing that I need to do really is to go to service settings and just check that the correct COM port is installed, and that's okay. And then we have this alarm setting. So you have to cancel this alarm. So I just go to this padlock and it cancels it. So now in theory, everything is set up to actually use my machine. So there's various different things I can do. There's more things I can do in the manual. But first of all, I'm going to check it jogs. So, oh, that's continually going, so that's going to, I want that to stop. Okay, that's going very, very fast, continuously. Okay, so I didn't like that because I didn't feel in control of it. So I'm going to drop the speed down. I'm just going to jog it left a little bit. Okay, so continuous is me controlling it. Typing in the step is it moving itself 1,000 or 100. Now I feel confident that that's moving, I'm going to jog the machine around using these settings. So while we're on here, let's actually record the machine jogging around as well. So let's hit the video camera on. And let's record. So the first thing I'm going to test is that the machine will jog backwards. So that will be in my Y. That isn't. Let's see what's going on. Let's jog back. Oh, now, okay, so it's moving backwards. axis. And it will go up and down in my Z. Okay, that's quite a good Z height to be fair. How low will it go? That's gonna tank out there. Okay, that's okay though. I'm fine with that. Now I have hit a limit switch, so I do have to reset to continue. So it's this button here. Hit the alarm off, and I should. Says be able to jog up and down. Check limit switches. Message, so I can type in that code to unlock. So you can use that, and X, and that. Which is give me an error. It's actually the H, it's the Z. That's the issue. Now it is a problem with this when you do hit the limit switches. Okay, I do tend to use these reset and unlock buttons more frequently. Right. So that's actually the machine set up. I'm going to turn the spindle on now. I'm going to set it low and move it up and see what happens. So let's jog this down. Okay, I don't have anything happening as of yet. Okay, so it's not set up to be controlled in Candle, but I am spinning it with the speed dial on. And that kind of scares me a little bit. But listen to the noise difference between that and the 3018, just the quality in the sound. That's so much quieter as a actual spindle. So we've got a bigger bed, it feels chunkier, it seems to be moving okay. Which is quite good, and the spindle moves, but for some reason the spindle isn't working via Candle at the moment, but it is working off the board. And that's fine, because I can control it like that, so I'm not unhappy with that as a first start. Okay, so the next thing for me to do is to actually look at adding a project in. Now they give you some projects. So the projects they give you are actually on their desk. They've got some test G-code files here. Okay, right here. So you can import those, or you've actually got files for the 4030. So there's some pretty nice ones here, and I'm going to open some of those within the software. So I'm going to go File, Open, 4030 files for the prover. Let's just use this very, very simple prover text. Okay, so if I look at that, my origin is bang center in the middle. So for the purposes of just testing, and I've got my spindle still running, I'm going to jog my machine to roughly the middle of the jog. About there. And I'm going to set, using this button, X and Y. And I'm going to jog my Z down, not too much about there. And I'm going to set that as my Z0 height. All I'm doing is testing that my machine's going to cut. So now I'm just going to send that file and see what happens. Okay. Now my spindle isn't running like it normally would, because that's controlled here. Now I feel like this is quite slow for this machine. I feel like it can go significantly faster. But this is a great test example. It seems to be doing what I think it should be doing. Right, so I'm going to abort that job. By hitting the abort button. I can hit the emergency stop, but that's probably not advisable to do. Okay, and now what I'm going to do is actually test the movement in the wires. So I'm moving it to its maximum corners. Just to check that at the extremes I've got no catching wire. Because if I haven't put the wires in correctly and they are catching, then that's going to cause me some issues. It will just basically just tear those wires to pieces. So a slightly slow process. I can increase my feed, but I don't want to do that in case it does catch. Okay, so that's as far back as it actually goes. It's hit the Z limits. Not as far back as I thought it would go actually, for the size. Bit of a shame really, that you've got all of that board but it won't go that far back. I have hit the end, so it's not going to move easily again. Let's go across here. Alright, so I kind of got an idea of my working space. Now the nice advantage to it is that I can actually stick longer pieces of wood on there. And it may come to the fact that I have to do something called tiling within software. And for me to do that tiling, it'll basically mean that I'd have to move the piece of material. Alright, so if I go back to my home, I know I'm pretty good. I know that my machine is fully set up and running to be able to start jobs. Okay, now there's a few things that I haven't done. And we'll do some of those things in some other videos as well. So we'll talk about clamping material down, collet and tooling as well. So we'll do some of those before we actually start some jobs on this 4030. If you have enjoyed any of these videos, please subscribe. We're doing lots more on 3080s, 4030s and any other machines I get my hands on.